Hi, my name is Eleanor, and I'm the creator and host of What Are You Grateful For? This podcast is about entrepreneurship, self care, and spirituality. Today's episode is going to be about being delusional and with in my journey of entrepreneurship. And before we get into the podcast episode today, I have two announcements. My first announcement, if you're not already, please follow me on social media. My Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube handle is the Spiritual Beauty Queen. And my second announcement today is that I am releasing a spiritual box that will be shipped out December 15th. If you are interested in any type of item to help clear out your energy in order for you to manifest the things that you want to manifest and bring into your life, I suggest you look into my box. You'll find on my Instagram page that I have a link tree that attaches to my Etsy shop so you can pre-order your box today. And that's all. So let's get into today's episode. So today, we're going to talk about delusional. And before we talk about being delusional in entrepreneurship, there's two types of delusional. There's a good delusional, and then there's a bad delusional. And today I'm going to talk to you about how I've been delusional in my entrepreneurship journey, both good and bad, and how is this in regards to my fear. And when I talk to you about these things, I honestly really had no idea that my fear was really holding me back so much, and in what way, especially when you're knee deep in your own problems. You kind of don't understand what your fear or how your fear exactly is dictating your life in order it dictating your life and the result of the dictation of fear dictating your life is 9 times out of 10 usually stagnation or consistently, stagnation essentially, because you're going to do the same things over and over again, which is the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I've been doing the same thing over and over again, but I've been expecting different results, and I've been insane, and I've also been delusional. So one of my favorite, I guess you could say he's a motivational speaker. He is a former businessman. His name is Jim Rohn. I started listening to him when I was in MLM, and I started listening to Jim Rohn because a lot of the things he said was very straightforward. It wasn't a lot for me to understand him. I didn't need to use a lot of brain cells. He was just very practical. And it spoke to me a lot because I think I'm a very practical person as well. And so one of the quotes that Jim Rohn said was, affirmation without discipline is the beginning of delusion. He says that you cannot talk your way to success. You need to discipline yourself with action to make it happen. And I have been so delusional in my entrepreneurship and I feel like I can talk my way into having success I'm not saying without having the action steps, but almost in a sense like without having the action steps. And it's because that I have been consistently on and off with my things that I want to do. And it sucks. And that's a part of my fear too, because I don't know what's going to happen. And I feel that last year around this time, I started getting into being a UGC creator, which is user generated content, something like that. Let me actually look it up right here real quick. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make so much money. And I just was like, oh, this is going to be so amazing. So UGC means user generated content creator. So I was going to be a UGC creator. I already have a portfolio that I created. I did it on Canva. I have a lot of background on creating content, and I'm really good at what I do. So last year, this time, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a UGC creator. I'm going to make money. I'm not going to have to work for anybody. And so I did it consistently for about 3 months, 90 days. I kept getting no's, but my feelings were hurt. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe UGC is not for me. And I was like, whatever about it. So I kept being consistent. And then in February of last year, I decided to get a job to supplement my income. And I got the job, and I totally forgot about I forgot about UGC, like out of sight, out of mind, because I was so focused on my job. And I was so focused on creating a career there that I forgot about the steps that I decided that I was going to take to myself. So I'm consistent, but I'm consistently on and off. And now that I'm not working, I am like, dang, why didn't I stay consistent with UGC? Like, why did I allow like one or two no's put me down? And it was actually more than one or two no's because I contacted a lot of people, but I understood and I understand still that every time you get a no, you're one step closer to your yes. And I didn't keep that in my forefront to remember that as I was on my journey, just to keep going with the process, because you're not always going to get your first yes. You're not always going to get those things that you dream and you hope for. And as a dreamer, when reality hits, it kind of hurts my feelings. And realistically, I can say all that I want to say, but at the end of the day, it's the truth. At least it's my truth that I haven't been consistent in what I'm doing. Now, how is this related to my fear? Because for me, logically, I want to be practical and I also want to observe numbers, because that's how I can measure something that I'm like, okay, I'm measuring this and this is how it's going to be. And when I was in multi-level marketing, something that I learned is that men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And because we're in a consumer world where everything is given to us like pretty instantaneously, and I've also constantly been exposed to people who seemingly have an overnight success and seem as if that, they don't really have to work hard for where they get. They kind of like, they were in the right place at the right time, but no one never talks to you about the grind of how they got there. And what to you looks like overnight, to them is it's not. Like, it's not overnight success. It's not those things. It happened over time. And my fear, the fear I gave a voice to was, how much time am I going to spend in a situation or an area of concern? And if I spend X amount of time, will it yield the results that I'm looking for? And how long will it take? Because I don't know the answers to that, I kind of limit myself to how much time I can spend in a situation. So I may do something for 90 days and I say, like, okay, if it's working, then I'm going to try one more time, and then I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to do it again. But after a year, I may not want to do it because I'm like, well, nothing that I'm doing is working. And I'm not really too sure how to pivot. And I feel that the numbers haven't lied. So I'm going to continue to move forward and push forward. And that is the wrong approach, because no matter, like, in your journey, everyone's journey is different, and sometimes things in life are just really stepping stones to get you to where you want to get. things in life are going to Things in life are just going to help you get closer to what you want. And so, for example, like when you're taking chemistry in school, if you're a bio or any type of science major, if you're in STEM, you usually have to take general chem. You take general chem 1 and 2, and then you take organic chem 1 and 2, and then once you took orgo 1 and 2, then you move forward to the different types of chemistry classes that you can take. And you can only do that as long as if you have those stepping stones: Gen Chem 1, Gen Chem 2, Orgo 1, Orgo 2. And when you have those stepping stones, it makes it a lot easier. And so I have been, and I don't know if anyone who's listening has ever been delusional like myself, but I have been delusional and thinking that I worked hard enough. Like, I feel like I worked very hard. I feel like I've been through a lot. And I feel like I want what I want and I want my success now. And I don't, sometimes it's like I don't understand why it's not here. I don't understand why I still have to like do trivial things that I feel like is trivial to me. And it's hard because I'm like, well, how long do I have to keep doing it? And that's where I've been delusional, because I pray all the time. I pray all the time, and I'm always asking spirit to help me, and always asking spirit to like be on my side. But the thing is that spirit, the universe, God, angels, whatever, however you want to approach the situation, they've never disappointed me. They never let me down. They never made me feel like I was by myself. They never, like, they have never disappointed me, but I'm sure I've disappointed them. And the thing is that this is the thing. Like, the thing is that we're in partnership. I'm in partnership with spirit. And because I'm in partnership with spirit, I find that they could do their part, but I also have to do my part. And my part could simply be just doing the work, showing up every day. And that is the hardest part, is to actually show up. And I haven't been showing up. I say that I want to be a social media influencer. I say that I want to be a paid content creator. I want to have a podcast. I want to have a skincare business. And I also have my separate business, my Mindset Reset business, which releases candles, amongst other things. And those are the things that I want to do. But I haven't been taking action steps and to be consistent with those action steps on a daily basis in order for me to get where I want to get. And that's why I say I've been delusional. And now the thing that I'm learning is that I have to be consistent. Like, there's no ands, ifs, ors about it. Like, I have to be consistent. I have to stay diligent on what I want and to be disciplined. And discipline is hard. Discipline is hard. Like, discipline is hard, especially if you, it's like, it's not scary to be disciplined for me. It's scary that to not know what my discipline is actually going to yield. I don't know what my discipline is going to yield me. And because I don't know, I am like not too sure what the result is going to be. And that's scary. And something else that Jim Rohn says is that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So right now, I've just been a dreamer. Right now, I've just been someone who is delusional, because I say my affirmations all the time. I say my affirmations all the time. I say it every single morning. I say when I look at myself. I know that I'm going to be successful, but I just have to put in the work to being successful. And I felt like I put in a lot of work. And maybe I did put in a lot of work, but it doesn't mean that the work went unnoticed or didn't help me. It just means that work was a stepping stone. So now I got to be consistent. And that's a challenge, you know? So some things, some things are really hard, but it's going to be harder for me later in life to not be consistent and not have the life that I want. I want to live a very luxury lifestyle. I went to a bathhouse in Brooklyn, and it's a, I believe it's, I wouldn't necessarily, it's a bathhouse. And let me just look it up so I can tell y'all. The bathhouse, Brooklyn. Let's see. It says the bathhouse is a massage and body scrub in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Is an oasis to be fundamentally human, located in a converted factory in the heart of Williamsburg, with a sleek interior. Bathhouse. Let me see what else they say. Bathhouse focuses on a highly functional modalities. We incorporate ancient wisdom with the best contemporary recovery practices and socially engaging environments. And so Bathhouse is pretty wonderful because they have treatments such as massages and body scrubs. They don't do facials, which is unfortunate. I wish they did facials, because I personally think that would be lit if they did facials, but they don't. And I loved it. Like, listen, that was the first time in my life when I got my scrubs on, massage my chest and rub my titties. And I was like, oh, this is luxury. And it wasn't even like the person, as they were massaging my chest and stuff like that. And I've gotten massages in the past. I've always gotten massages. This was not my first rodeo. This was my first body scrub, but actually it wasn't my first body scrub. But this was my first experience where something was a little bit more luxurious than I've ever experienced. Because I've been to, Spavia, Massage Envy, Bliss Spa, and I went to those places. I've experienced massages, I got them, and it was a really great experience. But it wasn't like the bathhouse. Like the bathhouse was a different luxury experience, and I loved it. And as I was leaving there, I was like planning my next visit, and I was like, I need to come here again. And I need to live like this luxury lifestyle. So a goal of mine is to live a luxury lifestyle like that and to have the ability to afford treatments like that without being like, oh, I could come next month. And it not to be something so like far and few in between. I don't want it to be 2 times a week. I want it to be like a quarterly thing where every quarter I go experience a really phenomenal treatment like that. And oh, sorry. I go experience a treatment like that. And I say this because I say this to y'all. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that when you have a desire and you have a want, you focus on those things a lot and you say, I want, I want, I want, I want. But that's just the desire part. And that's what I've been doing with all my goals. I listed all the things that I have in mind for my goals and just a few of them, but I just have the desire. The seed has already been planted. Now I actually have to take the action steps in order to get the result that I'm looking for. And that's it. Like I literally don't have to do anything else. I just have to show up. And that really honestly, quite frankly, is easy. And the more I show up for myself, I the more I show up for myself, the more I fall in love with myself. The more I show up for myself, the more I know I can be consistent. And that's all you have to focus on is showing up. Now, I can't tell you how to show up. I can't tell you, what action steps you need to take, but I can tell you that the action steps that I've been taking is I asked for help. Someone helped me with a spending plan. I have a spending plan, and now I know how much money I need to make per month in order to get where I need to get. In addition to having a spending plan, I created a kind of like a loose base social media plan, how I'm going to be marketing and the things I'm going to be doing on a daily basis, a schedule essentially that I know. So for example, I know that I need to record this podcast and I decided I'm going to record this podcast 3 times a week because that's what I used to do. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I used to record Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I would just be live and I would just be chatting. So that's something else. I know that I need to post on TikTok on a daily basis. So posting videos every single day, not 4 times a day, but maybe 3 times a day, or maybe once a day, every single day of the week. I know on Instagram, I'm going to be doing the same thing. And on YouTube, I'm going to be doing kind of the same thing too. So it does take time, but at least when I show up for myself, I'm doing it. And now, here's the thing, because I know logically, I don't know what is going to be the result of me posting every single day. I don't know if it's going to take me a year. I don't know if it's going to take me 2 years. I don't know if it's going to take me 5 years. I have no idea. So, what I do know is that stuff kind of is not tangible for me. It's not something I could touch. It's not something that I can physically control. But what I can control is myself. So, in addition to doing the things and being consistent with my social media platforms, being consistent with my business, being consistent with myself, I also decided to start going to the gym because that is something that is tangible to me. That is something that if I work out, if I eat right, then I'll see the results of that. You see it immediately with your skin. You see it immediately in how you feel mentally. You see it immediately in your energy levels. Those are things that I can use as a tool while I'm working on my business to stay mentally present and to be aware that there are certain things I can control. So focus on the things that I can control. And by focusing on that, it will help me continue to fight my fear that has been having a clutch hold in my life that I had no idea about. And that's it. Like, that's all I can say. I can't really say anything more or less, but I can say that is something that I am actively doing. And I understand that it's time. It's time for me to be more consistent. It's time for me to be more honest with myself. It's time for me to show up for myself. I deserve it if I can. And also, too, I realize that it's a little selfish for me not to show up either. And a lot of the things that I want to do and how I want to make impact on people is by helping people, helping people become a better person. And I love when I get to meet somebody, one person, and I impact them and I can visibly see that impact. And that shit blows my heart up. Like, it blows my heart up. Like, I love it so much. I love being able to impact someone so greatly that you can visibly see how you impacted them. And I want to continue to do that. And that's wonderful. But in that being wonderful, I realized that it's very selfish of me wanting to impact one person versus impacting many people. If I want someone to hear my voice, how are they going to hear me or find me if I'm not even doing anything? That's delusional. That is delusional. And I'm not doing that anymore. And obviously, it's also insane because I've been doing it for a while now and it hasn't been working. And so I'm just going to do something different. And that is to stay consistent. That's the best thing I can do, is to stay consistent. But yeah, that's all that I want to talk about today in today's episode of Delusional, being delusional. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. Again, if you're not following me on social media, I ask you to follow me. My social media handle is at the Spiritual Beauty Queen on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. If you are interested in purchasing my spiritual box, my clearing box, that's going to be shipped out on December 15th, please, please, please check out my Etsy store. The box is going for $30.30. It contains a spiritual cleansing candle, a spiritual cleansing bath salts, and also contains, I don't even know why I paused, a 15-minute reading from me and a surprise gift inside, a mystery gift. Thank you so much, y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day, and I hope you guys feel incredibly loved and just aware that you guys matter. Okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.